Why, welcome everybody. So welcome to another Back in My Day. Today we'll be talking about my sword collection. Basically, what happened was that I was born in a room in the hospital called the Prince Edward room. And what you name your kids pretty important, because I grew up having that name, knew it was from a king. And of course, ancient European kings had wars leading to famous characters like the Black Prince, Edward Longshanks and such. Started learning about war, being a boy also, added to that, being interested, then learning about samurais, Bushido, and basically to this, and other stuff, interest of war, books, scrolls, whatever. But basically today we're talking about the swords I have in my collection, and this is about it. The sad part is probably one of my dreams. I always wanted a master forged samurai blade, and probably that will never happen with my lifestyle choice, but I guess it's a trade-off I'm willing to make. I even went to see one time they call him the Last Samurai, and he's basically a guy who performs with a real blade, and he went to a mall to perform, and I literally went over there to watch him perform, and he signed a book I brought over. And he told me that basically his blade and all cost about $15,000, sharp blade and all. So imagine that if you look at the Master Forge one, that would be about, probably I'm thinking about $100,000-$200,000 depending on the ornamentation. So with my lifestyle, I doubt I'd get that. But let's talk about my collection today, what I have, and I'm very proud of it. The first things I got was, it started I think about 1998 to 2004 you're looking at, basically, and maybe latest 2005. And the first two I got was, of course, these two wooden blades from when I went to Japan and stayed for student exchange in I think 1998 also, and they came from a place called Eigamura, which basically translates to movie world. Eiga, movie, Mura is more like town or village, but I think in English they call it movie world, and that's actually where they shoot all those samurai bioepics, those serials and all that, dramas. And so went over there and saw these mass-produced tourist products, and I bought them. They're not balanced perfectly like it's made for kendo and all, but they do the job. I got my finger hit by one before, and it's quite painful. And the one with the sticker is mine. This is my brother's, but he didn't really get into the whole sword thing, so I ended up keeping it and cleaning it. So these are the two first blades that I got. Still very proud of them. Each of these have a name. Can't remember what these two are called, what I called them. Might have to give them new names. So those are the first two. And the next one I got was in 2004, and basically this one came after the army. I think it was 2004. So I went through the whole army, and just to let you know, Singapore, the army is national service, so you're not paid a lot of money. It's a conscription. Unless you sign on for full-time career, you're not paid a lot. And before that, I never even paid more than $10 for a shirt. So you can imagine how much money was tight for me. I'm not coming from the richest family. And this blade here came from a shop, a franchise shop kind of thing, was selling swords and all. It's the first in Singapore, I think. It was, at least as a franchise and all. And it was called Caesars. I got the membership, and I bought my first blade, which was the Braveheart replica blade from the movie. You see, there you go. And it's about 5 feet high. I'm 5'5". I'm not the tallest man, but this is a long blade. And of course, it's from the movie. I could have bought it with the one with the sling, where the harness, you can wear it and all. But first, I'm not that tall. Secondly, the money was already so much that I decided to just get the blade itself. And I bought the blade. 1995, Braveheart came out. It was inspirational. Still my number one most favorite movie of all time. The most realistic battles and everything. Say what you want about Mel Gibson now, by the time his performance was undeniable. It was a great movie. Not historical, but definitely got the true, especially the speech. So always what would just to do what you want. So do what you want with honor, and to not to seize the moment, carpe diem. So that's my Braveheart blade. And for every one of these, I try to give a story. I actually tried swinging this blade for it because actually it's amazing how much you can learn from just the internet and reading books. Where like with the other swords, I'll tell the stories how I practice with them. But with this Braveheart blade, I tried swinging it before, and of course you never want to take this outside the home in Singapore because you probably can be arrested. And this blade, like I said, I'm 5'5". I could never swing it because it would always hit the ceiling. It's really, really long. Like I said again, it's 5 feet tall, and on top of that, this is 6 kilos. This is a hollow blade. In Singapore, you're not allowed to have sharp blades, so everything is blunted, but inside is hollow. So if you were really to even try to sharpen it, there'll be no backing for it, basically. The whole safety thing, which I agree with. I think for me myself, I don't want a guy taking a real blade running about in my country too. So basically, this is 6 kilos. Can you imagine how the real blade of William Wallace, if he did use these long broadswords, how tiring it was for the Battle of Stirling? I think it was 1.5 to 2 hours. Can you imagine the guy just swinging this, and the arc of tack that someone swinging this blade would have is amazing. I mean, William Wallace, I think, was said to be 6'3". So, from personal experience, I tell you, that's a pretty scary sight to think of a Highlander with that coming down. He was not a Highlander, he was a Lowlander. There you go. Next two blades I got was the samurai blades, and this of course, this the katana and the wakizashi. And on top of them, when I bought it, I got the display and the carrying case. Can show the whole thing. Basically, just a sword carrying case you see in the US, when they're carrying blades about. And these two blades are basically it's an equal out between that and the Braveheart blade. Some of my most important possessions. This one's called Bushido. That's Shin. Heart of Bushido. I mean, Shin is heart. Bushido is the warrior's code. And these two blades got so many memories with them. When I got them, these were actually the blades. Now that I remember, these blades I got still in Polytechnic. Yeah, that's right. That was I could have got, again, it's so hazy because I don't have the receipts anymore. But scrap the idea that I think all these blades were bought way earlier. But I used to practice with these two blades, especially this one, Bushido. I used to practice with it at a quiet corner in the Polytechnic, and man, do I have a ton of stories to tell about that. Like one time I was practicing, and here's before the story. If you read the book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, which is the most famous duelist, and he never lost a duel, and he wrote a book about how to be a swordsman. And on top of that, you can learn of the mentality of a swordsman, the honor code, and everything. But basically, through his physical explanations, if you actually learn posture, steps, and all, which I use every day now, they actually really do make you a better swordsman. And you know that because when I was practicing regularly, I could swing a blade and you could cut the wind. That slicing sound. And it's amazing how just practice and just doing your research will make a difference. So basically, I was swinging this blade. One of the stories was basically I was swinging it, and one couple came up, basically because it was a quiet corner on the second level of Domestic Polytechnic at the corner, and they wanted to make out. Then they see me just swinging a blade about, and I used to wear all skull t-shirts and metal bands and all that metal kit, and it was just so awkward because here's a strange part of Asians. They see something like that, they don't go away. They actually sat at the corner and faced away. which I was like, now they're blocking the exit, so I couldn't leave. So it was, I don't know, just after a while I cleaned the blade and I walked away. But I was like, even now thinking about it, wouldn't it be safer to just walked away? C'est la vie. Another time, this is a scary story. I didn't know about heat stroke and all that. And at the time, I never brought water bottles, so I kept practicing with it before my Japanese class. And I was practicing, and then out of the blue, when I finished, I kept everything. I was walking towards the class, and I just felt extremely faint. So I went to the toilet, and I literally collapsed. And here's the thing, I collapsed, and I was like, what was happening? I just could not stand up. Every time I try to stand up, I fall down. And later on, I didn't see a doctor for it or whatever, but when I recovered, I found out that I had basically dehydration. I had trained so much without drinking the whole day and all that, and basically that's what happened, and that was quite an eye-opening experience. And that's why when I go gym now, I always have a lot of water. I always drink your H2O. So that's some of the stories from Bushido and Shin. And basically the next one I have is, of course, my sharp blade. The only sharp blade I have that actually I had to sign for in Singapore. Anything more than what you have here in the shops, you have to actually get a fire and bomb license if you were ever to get a real samurai blade, for example. But this is my hunting knife which I bought. And yep, this is a sharpening stone, and I basically call this one sharp. It's a hunting blade, nice solid, smash, and you can basically hunt fish, scale fish with it. I used to sharpen this a lot. So yeah, one of my most precious blades. And on top of that, I always keep it in my house in a special corner, so that in case I ever do get robbed and all that, let's just say I have a big surprise for whoever's coming to get me. But of course, I never advocate violence. If I don't have to use it, I would hope never to use it. And I even used to throw that all the time, learn how to throw the blades and everything. And can't say I was very successful at that, but another thing, just an interest. Just wanted to learn, and I did. So basically, that's the stories of my blade collection. Basically, if I to end this, I just want to say that I don't collect these for just the material value of them. I collect them because they represent something to me. Every blade to me, be it the chivalric knights or the Bushido of samurai or the samurai, they are honor based. And it's not because of anything else that you do your duty, you do your honor. So whenever I feel like I want to do something bad, can't say I always do the right thing, but they always lead me towards the right way. Because it's like if you were to do something bad, and then some people look at the cross and something, and they would stop doing the bad thing. Same thing for me, except for me, I'm not religious in many ways, so I use these just to remind myself to be a moral person. So these are what this represents to me. So yeah, that's the whole reason why these are so precious to me, also because they make me a better person. Sad part about it is that from the years I was in Australia and all, Braveheart, which I call this sword, Braveheart, Shin and Bushido had basically not been cleaned, and there's some rust on them. I tried cleaning the rust off, but I was doing more damage than good. So nowadays it irks me to no end, but better to not damage the blades, and so I clean them off more often now. Yeah, so that's it. Those are my blades. Thank you very much. Till next word.